Hey, rock stars! We are here again to talk about self-care and upping our level of self-care. As we are moms, we know it is important to take care of ourselves so that we can show up as the moms we want to be. Today we have, I'm going to say it
Eileen.
wrong, Elaine?
Eileen.
Eileen. Eileen, I am so sorry. Okay, we have Eileen Cox with us, and she is going to share some great tips and tools that we can use to support us in getting better at our self-care. How are you doing, Eileen? Thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome, and I'm so happy to be here. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Yes, yes. So tell the ladies how is it that you support people?
Well, I am what I call a lifestyle business coach. And so I work with moms who are trying to start and grow their own businesses. And the biggest factor in actually the best clients that I work with are the ones where family is most important to them. That's my sweet spot as a lifestyle business coach, is making sure that their family is a priority at all times as they build the business. And I've been doing this for a little while. I transitioned from life coaching into this, and I have had so much fun in working with those women who I know self-care is the actual key to all the pieces of success.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally hear you. Yeah, I will gladly admit that I am not the best at self-care. And so in this community, we are all supporting each other to be better, to become the rock stars that we want to be at taking care of ourselves. So what do you have for us today to support us in that effort?
Well, the first thing that I would say in self-care is self-awareness. When you know that you're saying should 10 times in 5 minutes, you're going down the wrong road. When you know that you're feeling pulled in too many directions, it's time to stop. Take that breath and say, what's really the most important thing right now? When you're finding yourself getting triggered by just little things, that's when you know you need to take some time maybe for yourself, give yourself a little time out. You know, we give our children that. Give yourself that, but be compassionate because it's okay. Most moms, especially if they're working moms, but even if they're not, because I've been in both. I've been a working mom and a stay-at-home mom, so I understand both places. Stay-at-home is actually harder sometimes than working. Although today being at home and working may be the intersection of the two.
Yeah.
But it's really, really important to get back to being who you are in yourself and just saying, you know what? It's okay. It's okay that you're not perfect. It's okay if you make a mistake somewhere, as long as you see it and then you can help yourself course correct. And it's always, if we're putting our kids first, which we usually do, and that's nothing wrong with that, but to our own expense, then we're making a mistake. One of the quotes that I love to tell my clients when I'm working with them is there's a reason why the airlines tell you to put your mask on first. Because if you lose oxygen before you get your kids' mask on, you're not good to them or yourself anymore. And so you have to put your mask on every once in a while and breathe before you put that mask on someone else. And sometimes it's okay to say, let something go. Reprioritize the calendar. If it's one of your kids doing something, what can you do so that you're not overseeing that child, but that child is building their own self-esteem by trying it alone, even if it's not perfect. Giving space for yourself, giving space for those around.
Yeah, I love that. Self-awareness, I think that's so important. It's definitely something that we teach in our coaching. Awareness is that first step in taking the path towards the life that you want to live. And so having awareness around your self-care, what is it that you're needing, taking that step back and observing what's going on and how you're behaving, when you're feeling like you're not being the mom you want to be. Why is that? I think that's great. I love that.
Yeah, it's so essential. One of the things I like to tell my clients, and I do myself, is set yourself up for a morning routine to start your day. If anybody's ever heard of Hal Elrod, The Miracle Morning, that's a book that he wrote. Many people have read that, but really find something to set yourself up mentally, psychologically, as well as physically for your day. Even if it means wake up a few minutes ahead of time and give yourself those few minutes to do a gratitude journal, to do any kind of I am affirmations, to do something. Instead of thinking, don't check your phone right away, don't check your emails, but really take that moment to set yourself up for the day, to be intentional about who you want to be and how you want to be that person. And then you can handle things in a better place. If your kids are running late and getting ready for school, or they forgot something, or you didn't wash their uniform for your sport event, or whatever it is that comes up, you can handle it better and you could be okay. And your kids will then notice your energy is better, so then they won't react so heavily because it's all connected. So that's really what it's all about, is start yourself out on a good foot. Wake up and bring yourself to a good place. And then if during the day things happen that throw you off course, take a pause. Go into the bathroom for a couple of minutes and hide.
Lock yourself in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, I have a morning routine, and it was something that I kept telling myself I wanted to do. And it took me a really long time until I actually did it. And now I'm pretty consistent with it every day. It slacks on the weekend sometimes, but when I don't do it, like I get up earlier to get on a Zoom or have a class or have a client or something, and I don't get to that morning routine, I can feel it the whole day. I can feel that I didn't take that time for myself. I didn't take that time to fill my personal cup up before I stepped into whatever role that I stepped into and started giving of my energy to someone else. So I definitely agree with that. It is so helpful for me. And I used to think, oh, I'll be so tired because I get up earlier, but really it kind of energizes me to go throughout the rest of what I have planned.
Yeah. I choose, because I have a fur baby as well as human babies, although my human babies are older now. My morning routine includes walking my dog out in nature, which some mornings it's a little cold when it's 18 degrees out and icy.
Oh, yes. It doesn't get that cold here.
But I can say that while I'm walking, I'm either doing my own internal stuff or I'm listening to something on a YouTube or there's a couple of people that I follow to do that, to really set my mind up. And I love nature. I love being out in nature, looking at trees. Weekends, I recharge by going hiking around a lake for 4 miles with my dog, and just being there, woods and water and usually other dogs, because there's a lot of people who walk their dogs there. That is a recharge of my battery. So it's finding something that recharges you along the way and remembering why what you're doing is so important. So if it's your kids, why are you doing what you do? If you're helping them with homeschooling, why is it so important that they do well? And how well are you and that child connecting, so that you hear what their real struggles is, so that you make sure that you're feeling in sync. That's another key in your self-awareness, is really making sure that you're listening and you're there, not only to what's going on inside of you, your body, what your emotions tell you, what your feelings are telling you, but also what you're sensing in someone else around you, to see if maybe you're not coming forward in the way you think you are. And you may want to introspect a little bit and say, am I presenting myself in the way that I want to? I've had clients come to me in tears at times because they got themselves into an overwhelm. I had one client, as I mentioned earlier, the shoulds. Within, I can't even say 1 minute, I couldn't even count how many shoulds she said.
Yeah.
And that put her in a state of overwhelm. And when I made her aware, I said, have you counted how many shoulds that you have just said to me in the first minute of our conversation? And she was like, oh, it was like light bulbs. So we can all have our own little light bulbs and know that we're human. And we have some things that have happened, in our own lives that have reassigned a meaning to it. And that meaning will tell us whether something is making us feel stressed and reactive, or whether we're feeling calm and responsive to the situation. And once we are aware of what that is, then we can do what we need to do to be able to handle those situations as they come up again.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you talk about walking your dog, and then on the weekends taking even more time to go out and walk your dog. I think that a lot of the times we don't know what those self-care things are. We don't know that getting out in nature is something that refuels us. And so it's allowing ourselves to explore those different things, but then also allowing the time to do them, because it probably takes a little while to do 4 miles around the lake. And are you going to allow yourself that time?
That's a priority. See, even if I have other things on my list, that is my priority. I've had dogs for most of my life. So I could say the last 20 plus years of my life, I've been responsible for the dog walk the majority of the time. So even if I had to be, when we were live years ago and I had to go to a 7:30 a.m. meeting somewhere and I had to drive there, I would get up extra early and still walk the dog before going. And so that was a part of, I would be getting up at 5 o'clock. I'd be out there at 6 a.m. walking the dog, already dressed in business clothes and ready to roll.
Oh my goodness.
So
Definitely commitment.
Yeah, but it's something that I took because I loved my dog and that time for me so much that that's been a part of my life for over 20 years of my life.
So that's the key of finding something that you are so in love with that you will consistently give it the priority in your day to get it done on a daily basis.
Yeah. Why don't you have any of your listeners prepare a list of what they love most for themselves? They may love their children, they may love their job, but what are activities and things that they love to do, even for themselves, whether it's reading a book, taking a bath, there's lots of different things because water can be very healing in its own way. I have a client who takes a bubble bath at night to de-stress. That's her answer. For me, movement. So physical movement, the ability for me to be out walking my dog is physical movement. And that to me is important. It gets my engine going more than a cup of tea. I don't drink coffee, tea.
Yeah.
So I can start my day without caffeine if I have the opportunity to do the walking. So that's what's essentially important to me. And so they can find what is most important to them and you make room for it.
Yeah.
Because as most moms, we're there for our kids 24/7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And when they come up with that last minute recital, we find time to fit it in, don't we?
We always do. So the other part of this that I always tell somebody, I've had a client that I had to remind her a few times, is besides self-awareness is being aware of your self-talk. And so how can you talk to yourself like you would your child is the question I always ask.
Absolutely. Yeah. We were given an exercise to put a picture of ourselves as a child on our phone or in our purse or somewhere where we would see it on a regular basis and be constantly reminded of her. And would we talk to her the way we talk to ourselves? Would we treat her the way we treat ourselves? And it's actually on my, you can't probably really see it, but it's on my screen on my phone. And so I see it every time I turn my phone on, which for me is several times a day, right? So yeah, having a picture, maybe you don't have a picture of yourself as a child, or that doesn't have the same power for you. Maybe it's a picture of one of your children when they were small, and how, you know, how would you have spoken to them? It's definitely a powerful tool to use for sure.
Yeah, that is a great tool. And I love that idea. I haven't thought about putting it on my phone, but I love that idea because that is perfect. I may have to borrow that for my clients going forward.
Go
So
ahead.
thank
And
you.
any of our ladies here as well. Well, we thank you, Eileen, for being here with us and sharing with us all of these great steps of a morning routine and being more self-aware and finding and investing that time in the things that we're really passionate about and that we can commit to doing on a long-term, consistent basis. So I thank you so much for being here and supporting my moms, or the moms here.
You are most welcome, and thank you so much for the invitation. I look forward to seeing what others are also saying as you talk to them about this. This is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see the response to these videos and how it supports the community. And my intent is that it starts a conversation and gets the community really involved in supporting each other and practicing and trying out these different steps that are suggested, and that we can all increase our skills and become rock stars at self-care. So thank you so much, and bye everybody.
Thank you so much.